percentage of people that we can help is far smaller than the people that we actually do help. Or it's like 4% or 9% that could actually benefit from us actually get our care. And so that means there's probably 90% out there that aren't getting, how we can help them. So there's plenty of room, in our city, we've been blessed, and I think that's awesome. If you're interested in doing it, there's niches out there, and it can be done.
Cody, how we doing, man?
Good.
Appreciate
good. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on. PT Business Blueprint with Cody Barnett. Again, just to reiterate, while I do these first, 50 interviews, I'm going to keep saying it. Because the thing is, every time I say it and then put an episode out, I get 5 more people to come on the show. And that's the goal, to do 1,000 interviews over the next 5 years. It's 200 interviews a year with PT practitioners or people in or around the profession of physical therapy or healthcare. And I just want to do a light skim over the top. I want people to sort of be able to peer in and see what your business or these businesses are about, because I want people to open more of them. I want more people to take sort of charge of their own careers. So Cody, like when you're at a dinner party or a barbecue or something like that, and of course the question of like, hey, after what's your name and where you're from, and you bring up Bodyworx, like what do you say? How do you explain it to people? What do you do?
Well, usually people will start with, hey, I got this elbow problem right
Always.
here. What can you do for me, right?
Always.
That's usually how it starts. But something like that. But so for me, at least, when I started, I'm maybe different than most. Most of the people I know started because they got injured. I never got injured. I just started because I loved anatomy and I love physiology, and so I started volunteering at my local hospital and their PT department. I just cold called them, walked in one day and said, hey, I'd like to learn more about this. And so they were gracious enough and let me come in, and I volunteered there, and eventually I worked there and eventually decided this is what I want to do. So that's how I got started, is just with a cold call, something I thought I might like. As far as our practice, and people ask about that, so I usually don't tell people I'm a physical therapist. I usually say something along the lines of, I own a physical therapy practice, or I'll say something along the lines of, well, I help keep people mobile, active, and off pain pills. And so those types of things typically generate a little bit more curiosity in terms of how we talk about ourselves and how we phrase things. So usually that's at the barbecue. That's usually one of those two routes is usually the route I'll go.
Okay. So if people want to double click in, I love the intriguing, I help people stay active, mobile, and off pain pills. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
I love that, because that sort of sets the tone. It makes people it makes them sort of have to say like, well, how do you do that? Or what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I do that. How I do that is physical therapy. What you do is keep people mobile, active, and off pain pills. So off the bat, winner, right? Like winner, chicken dinner. But if someone were to double click in, or maybe another therapist were to be like, oh, you want to practice? That's fantastic. Who do you treat? Is it inpatient, outpatient? Like, who are your ideal customer or customers?
Yeah. So from there, basically we specialize in orthopedics. And so a lot of, if it's physios watching today, it's, a lot of orthopedic injuries. So orthopedic pain and injury, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, those sorts of things. I have been doing this for about 35 years, so I've developed several niches that we dive into here at our practice. So certainly our perfect customer, if you will, is kind of the 50-year-old plus person that likes to stay active, and they're not willing to settle. They're not willing to, stay home on the couch and say, well, I'm just getting old. So those people generally aren't attracted to us. We specialize more in people that want to stay active and value their health. So that's the main unique feature. But sub-niches within that is, I've been a runner and a cyclist my whole life, so treats a lot of runners and cyclists and triathletes, that sort of thing. And then as I've gotten older, I've gotten into pickleball. And so for the last several years, we've specialized in treating pickleball injuries, and that's really fun because it's a fun sport and we love it.
Well, let me ask you this. In terms of those niches, outside of maybe communicating them, right, running ads or organic content of getting them in the door, outside of them, as soon as they walk in the door, are there special things that you do? Is there difference? Like, are there programs because a lot of times people will say like, well, come in the clinic and now you're just receiving physical therapy. But when you start to niche down, you can do interesting things because runners and cyclists are both endurance athletes, but they're different. So when they get inside, are there different things that you do with those different groups?
Yeah. Well, the short answer is always it depends, but yes. In terms of runners, like we can do 3D video analysis. We do
That's what I'm looking for.
Motion video analysis. I actually started doing that back in the day when I had a VCR camera over my shoulder, videotaping people, and then I'd take the videotape home at night and put it in the VCR and then do slow motion.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah. So that's I've been at it for a while.
We've come a long
Nowadays,
way.
Now I just grab my phone, pull up my app, and bam, and take a few seconds of running video, and then you scroll through it and found it, and here's what's going on. So
wow,
it's amazing to be able to just pull your phone out of your pocket compared to what I started with. So we do that. We when people come in our door, they'll kind of get that it's a little bit different because I've got a bicycle hanging on my ceiling in our waiting room. So my idea there is that we want to promote the idea that this is an active place, and so for people that just walk in, that most people comment about that.
Yeah.
And then we see we've got an excellent local bike shop that's a block down the way from me, so I work with them a lot, and they do an excellent job at fitting cyclists. So I really stay away from just fitting cyclists on bikes, but where I come into play is if they've got somebody that's got chronic back pain or neck pain or hip pain when they ride, and so then I'll do a PT-esque fitting session with them where we're looking at their anatomy and what's going on for them. So there's some unique things that we do there.
So some questions people who either have a clinic or might be wanting to start a clinic. You've sort of opened the door. Great radio segue, as we call it, which is relationship with a bike shop. So what do you do organically or paid or formally, I should say? So organic or formal in terms of how does Cody find the right people, or how do the right people in your neighborhood? Where are you geographically, by the way? I think I skipped over that.
We're in Wichita, Kansas.
Perfect. Okay. So how does Wichita either know about Cody already, or how do they find you? Like, what are the different ways that people, because as the marketing guy with a marketing background, I'm always curious. And I think there's always great innovation outside of formal or informal relationships or organic or paid things. What do you do to make sure that you stay top of mind?
Well, multifaceted. So
Good.
there's new customers, there's existing customers. So for our existing customers, I've had our practice since 2005. So we've seen a lot of people, So we've got a big database of people. So we do a weekly email. So we're constantly emailing them. Either we'll do a combination of informational stuff, just educational, informational things about different injuries or different health related things and stuff, so that I am biased, but I think we provide really, really good content for people. And then in those weekly emails, there's sometimes going to be an offer for some program or something that's going on, a webinar or a treatment highlight or something like that. So we've got that. Obviously, like everybody else, we do social media and the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the YouTubes and such. So that's mostly our existing customer base, and those customers, often refer people to us. So We're very blessed that our clients will refer their friends and family members, their neighbors, etc. And obviously, we're always very appreciative of that, and we're thankful to them, and we thank them when that happens. So that's our meat and potatoes, but just from people that we've been seeing for the last 20 years. In terms of new patients, to your question, typically that'll either be referrals from friends and family member, or we'll do events. So we'll be at a pickleball event, we'll be at a running event, we'll be at the local bike shop, we'll be at the local running store, doing things like that. And then we'll also do regular webinars for our clients. So you can do a webinar on back pain or something. So we'll do an educational thing that provides people an opportunity to go, hey, these guys might know what they're talking about. Maybe I should go see them about my problem X.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Do you want to boost your clinic revenue by $290 per patient per quarter? Of course you do. That's rhetorical. Physiotech's remote therapeutic monitoring can help you do that, enhance patient outcomes, ease provider workload, and turbocharge your earnings. Kickstart with RTM at physiotech.ca. That's physiotech.ca. And the thing you interact with the most at your clinic, if you're a therapist, like it or not, is your EMR. MW Therapy's all-in-one outpatient PT EMR gives you seamless integration of patient portals, marketing automations, and billing, all at one unbelievable value. Switching over is a breeze too. Kick the tires, take a test drive at mwtherapy.com. And where is your PT career going? It's not rhetorical, it's literal. Embark on extraordinary patient care adventures with Jackson Therapy Partners. Visit them at jacksontherapy.com. This is perfect for physical therapists eager to make their mark, to do what you want to do, where you want to do it. Discover where your career can take you at jacksontherapy.com.
Yeah. You hit a lot of things there. And I think for people who maybe are doing one or a couple of these things, they might hear all the things that you're doing, and you talk about them so nonchalantly. Like, well, we're at events and we do webinars and we do an email and we do social platforms. That's a lot. I think it's great. Where is your best ROI that you think in terms of the things that you did? We'll go with digitally creating, right, versus in person. Where do you think is the best digital ROI?
Digital ROI would have to be weekly email newsletter. Because those are going out to people that already know, love, and trust us.
They're warm. And in terms of guaranteed at least landing in their inbox, it's virtually 100%. They're going to get it, right? Unless there's an email issue. Now they're opening that open rate. What do you know what your open rate is? Like, are you like sleeves rolled up doing the email?
Yeah, we do. We've done different things. We've paid people to do it for us, and currently we're doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So we've done different things over the years. Open rate, I'm told by people in the business that open rates aren't always accurate anymore.
Right.
So the goal used to be 20% or better.
Right.
I know we're better than that. We run around 30 to 40%, but I'm also told that just because it says it is opened, it may not have actually been read.
Right.
Whereas a few years ago, open rate was open rate.
Right.
So as far as I know, our open rate is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's getting harder with the email now. There's more and more where if people don't engage with you anymore, if they're not engaging with your email, it becomes harder for it to be deliverable. This just highlights spam so much.
Yeah, this highlights the fact that we're actually, no matter what business you're in show business. You're in the I need to show, and it doesn't mean you got to put on a show, but you have to continually show people what value you bring. So when they actually have that problem or need your solution, you are the top of mind, or you are the thing that they, as you mentioned, know, like, and trust. Other questions that clinicians ask you. Let me ask you one of these best advice questions. You say you've been doing this for how long? Close to 30 years?
Yeah, so I graduated in 91, but I've had my practice since 05.
Okay. So you've been doing this for a while. What advice do you wish was whispered in your ear in 04 before you got started? What advice would you have given Cody back then before you started?
That's a really good question, Jimmy.
Thanks.
I would say you need to fall in love with the problem. Don't fall in love with the solution.
Okay.
So in 05, it was, and I've learned this just over time and through mentors and through reading books and whatever. But back then it was like physical therapy, or physical therapy practice, and physical therapy is the thing that's going to fix everything. And to be really honest, the public doesn't care. They don't care. They don't care how many initials are after your name. They don't care where you went to school. They just want to know if you can meet them where they're at and solve their problem.
That's it.
So back in the beginning, when I knew absolutely zero about marketing and speaking to people and such, it would be, it'd be all about physical therapy. Today, I don't ever talk about physical therapy.
What do you talk
I
about?
talk about the problem. So I talk about the fact that your back hurts, and because your back hurts, you're not sleeping at night because you can't sleep well at night. You're going to work grumpy every day, and it's all of the problems that are associated with whatever the issue is. So that would be, I think that'd be the key thing from '04 that I wish I knew then that I don't know now.
It's brilliant.
Is to we've got to speak to people where they're at and the things that are important to them. And to you and I, the physio is important because we love anatomy, we love physiology, we love figuring stuff out. That's what got me into this, is because I love all of those things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, our clients don't care. They just want to know if you can fix me so that I can go, play with my grandkids or go golfing or whatever it is that they want to do.
Yeah, I'm having my basement renovated right now. I'll be in a new studio in a couple of weeks. I found people that my neighbor trusted because he's handy, and I trust my neighbor, and he said, these are the guys. So I hired them. I didn't ask them what kind of tools they did. Maybe I should have, but I did. I know they did his house, but I didn't ask for other pictures of other houses. I saw my neighbor's house, and he's picky, and I was like, got it. But I wasn't going to go down the rabbit hole of where'd you study, sheetrock, or what kind of tools do you use, Milwaukee or DeWalt? And the guy selling his services, and he didn't sell this, he sold the solution. So tell me what you want to do with this room, and what do you want it to look like or feel like? Got it. Okay, I can do this for them. And he didn't get into the weeds, but I bet you if I had pressed, well, what kind of what kind of sheetrock or screws he could have told me, but he knew not to dwell on that. And I think what you're saying, and I agree with, is focus on the problem and the before and the after. Where do you want to go? What's preventing you from getting there? I know it sounds simple, and we're overeducated for that type of conversation, but having that conversation is a skill, and doing it well, right? So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I talk to people much differently today than I did 20 years ago.
Isn't that the point, though? We're supposed to grow and change, right? And good for you. Since you've been doing this for a while, I can ask you a question that maybe I can't ask someone who's been doing it for 5 years. What's the biggest change, positive or negative, in the profession? We'll go even bigger, that you've seen, that you've either liked or not liked. Been doing it since '91. What do you think's the best? What's your favorite change, or the thing that gives you hope?
Can I answer both of them?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, please.
So the thing that I probably don't like as well is that I'll preface this by saying I'm an APTA member. I'm a private practice section member. I've been our state federal affairs liaison. I'm pro profession, right? But I would say that our profession in general and our leadership in general has been very focused on getting doctorate level and education, and all of that's good and well. And I don't disagree with that. But in terms of, I think we need to do a much better job as far as marketing what we do to the public overall. And I'm not putting that on the national profession. I'm putting that on
individuals.
Me, and I'm putting that on you, and I'm putting that on everybody that's out there. Whether you own a practice or whether you're an employee of a practice, it doesn't matter. Like, it's our job. If we want to elevate so that people want to come to us first for their problems, like, it's up to us. And so it's, again, people don't really care what initials you've got after. They really don't.
Right.
Are you a fellow or not a fellow? Or not to say that those aren't important, and those help us get people better, but people don't care. And so I would say there's been such drive to make everything doctorate and more education and more certifications and more of this, that we miss the point of who's our customer. How do we speak better to our customer? How do we market to our customer? How do they know that everybody knows what doctors do. Everybody knows what nurses do. Not enough people know what we do. And so
I think it's ironic.
I feel it's up to us as an individual to market ourselves in our community and to our neighbors and our family and whatever,
right,
about all of the things that we can help solve.
I think it's interesting in that sentence that you said, people don't know what we do, and that's okay. I think if we put one word in that sentence, we get more clear in our marketing message, which from the top of the show, how you explained it, I think people it would be better if they just know what we can do for them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care how the guy downstairs renovates the basement. I care what he can do for you. Can take this room from dank and dark and creepy to not dank and dark and creepy to bright and warm and welcoming and usable. Done. I sort of don't care in the middle. Now, the difference between the basement thing and what we do is you got to be part of the process, right? You got to come along, right?
Right.
It'd be a different story if I had to help that guy, 8 hours a day for 3 days doing the basement. Then I'd want to know, okay, what's going to be involved in this? So I will give clinicians or patients some grace there, because they do have to be part of the process, which is also part, though, of communicating. Hey, the physical part in physical therapy, it's going to be mostly you, right?
Yeah.
So that was the profession-wide. What was the second part of the question that you wanted to answer too? You said both.
So that was the thing. That was the thing that I would say that I wish, that's been, in my mind, kind of a negative thing. It's not negative, but we need to do a better job at.
Okay.
And then in terms of the things that I've seen in terms of how we've grown and the positive things, well, golly, we know so much more now than we knew in 1991 when I got out. And so there's things that we can know and treat and diagnose and fix and cure that are so much better. I'm so much better at what I do today, and most of my colleagues are so much better at what they do today than we were 30 years ago, in terms of what we have as far as the tools in our toolbox. And part of that's technology, part of it's knowledge, part of it's research. But there's no question that, in my mind, that in terms of how we serve our world as a whole is better today than it was 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, I would have said we're better today than we were in the 50s.
Listen, if you're running a PT practice and you're still using old school systems, you're leaving time and you're leaving money on the table. Empower EMR is here to change that. It's an all-in-one, automated and built to streamline your scheduling, billing, and everything else so you can focus on what you do best, helping patients. Don't overthink it. Go to empoweremr.com. That's empoweremr.com. Book a demo and stop letting outdated tech hold you back. All right, PTs, if you're serious about crushing the OCS exam or leveling up your clinical game, Current Concepts of Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 5th edition, is where it's at. This is your one-stop shop for the latest in ortho PT, with expert insights on every joint, real-world case scenarios, and evidence-backed techniques. Don't sleep on this. Go to orthopt.org right now and get a sneak peek and start prepping like a pro. That's orthopt.org. One more time, orthopt.org. Go there. And that's great, right? That's the direction you want to be going in.
So I would say, in terms of how we serve those around us, I think that's definitely grown, and we've certainly upped our game in that regard.
What advice would you give to physical therapists that maybe have just opened a clinic, or maybe they're thinking about doing one? Now you don't have to give advice to the past version of Cody. You can give advice to someone who's like, in a year or two, I'm going to be doing this thing, or maybe they just did and they're willing to be a sponge and listen to things. What advice would you give them for today?
So tips would be, one, don't underestimate marketing. So there's internal marketing, external marketing. Internal marketing is what you do with the people that are already, under your roof. External marketing, what are you doing to the outside world?
Yeah.
How do you get people that are on the outside walls to have a better, more clear understanding of what's going on inside your walls, so that their external perception matches your internal reality. Definitely marketing. I'd say in terms of from a financial standpoint, obviously, I've developed financial skills over the years. When I started, I didn't have any business classes. I didn't have an MBA. I just knew what I wanted to do, and I was pretty detail oriented in how I went about it. But you've got to make the numbers work and figure that stuff out. You can't just assume that you're going to get X number of patients per week or per month. And I always calculated everything on what's my worst case scenario?
Yeah. Yeah.
If things get dire, what can I sell?
Sell the bike in the lobby.
Rolling.
Sell the bike in the lobby,
Oh, yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
that's a
exactly.
resource. All right, last question I'll ask
Yeah.
before we do parting shots. What's been the most rewarding part of this journey? I'll say not just as a clinician, we'll be more specific since this is a business blueprint. What's been the most rewarding part of this journey as a clinic owner?
Well, for me, it's like we get to see amazing things. Um, there's so many amazing things. I like my patients inspire me. When I don't feel like working out, I think about a patient that's inspired me that did something that they didn't think they could do, and they went out and did it, and then that gets me, okay, all right, I've got to do my workout today. So being able to see people do things literally every day is super cool. We've seen people, get run over by a car and then run with the Olympic torch.
Yeah.
I've seen people that couldn't stand up out of a chair and now they can, walk out to the mailbox and back. I've seen people. It doesn't matter if it's a big thing or a little thing. It's a big thing to them. We've had, we've had people just do, amazing things. And so being able to help them do that and achieve that, things that they maybe didn't think were possible or didn't feel that they'd ever be able to do again. It's so super cool.
Love it.
And then the cool thing is we get to make a living doing that. I can remember when I was a student and I transitioned from paying to do PT to getting my first paycheck, and I'm like, holy cow, they actually paid me to do this, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Definitely that, in terms of from a business perspective, it's gratifying. Most businesses, they say that statistically, if you make it past year 3, you're going to make it. So, for us as a business, we feel like, we've really helped a lot of people. We've done everything ethically. We put our patients first. We serve only our patients, and if we do that, then we are successful. And so that'd probably be number 2, is being able to just have a viable business that we know is going to be here for the long haul, and we love taking care of people and loving on them.
Last thing we do on our episodes, we call it the parting shot. What's one idea, one sentiment, a mic drop moment, a soapbox statement? It could be something you've already said before that you repeat. What's the last thing you want to hammer home and really just burn into the audience's brain?
Yeah, my parting shot would be the percentage of people that we can help is far smaller than the people that we actually do help. Statistically, I don't know what the number is. It's a low number. It's like 4% or 9%,
right,
or something of the people that could actually benefit from us actually get our care. And so that means there's probably 90% out there that aren't getting, how we can help them. They're not receiving what we can do to help them as a profession. So there's plenty of room, in our city. We've been blessed. I was the first practice in Kansas to leave all of the insurance networks and go completely direct care or cash pay in our state. And there's been several more now since then, and I think that's awesome. I don't look at them as competitors, because I know
so many people out there
walking by on the sidewalk that we can all help. So, I'd say if you're interested in doing it, there's niches out there, and it can be done.
Well done. Cody, appreciate your insight. Thanks for doing one of these first couple of PT Business Blueprint episodes with us. And congrats, man. Congrats on doing the thing and being excited about getting paid to do the thing that you love anyway, man. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate it.